What is up, people? We are back on MTGO for a new draft. Today I'm drafting Lorwyn, which again is a very sweet set that I'm appreciating more and more. I mentioned in the last draft Needlevine Blight being pretty good. I think it's a bit too slow though. I probably overvaluated that thing. I mean, it's good, I think, but it's like a bit too slow. All the uncommon are fine, but not very exciting. I think the best card of the pack is Nameless Inversion, which is very, very good removal. Kills most things. The fact that it's a tribal is relevant. The fact that it makes creature lose abilities relevant is just pretty great. You have some solid creatures. You have Ambush, you have the Aquitex, the Sprite. You know, that pack is pretty decent, but I think Nameless Inversion is just much better than anything else. Alright, well, Epic Proportion is very good. I don't like auras too much, but this is more of a gigantic trick that will eventually win you the game. 6 mana is quite a lot though, but it's pretty good. The archers are pretty good in the elf deck. It's often a very big creature and, you know, it just shut down flyers. Probably better than Harbinger, which is fine, but yeah, probably slightly worse. That card is not great, I don't think so. The Changeling is fine. Harasser is decent. Lash Out is probably the next best card, if not the best card. I think the pick is between Lash Out and Epic Proportions. Harrier is very good too, but worse than Lash Out. So yeah, I think it's between these two cards. I don't think there's any reason to pick a mediocre black card to stay in black. Lash Out being the only red card of the pack kind of makes me wanna take it and try to cut red and maybe get rewarded pack 2. All in all, I think Lash Out is the best card, but Epic Proportion is pretty strong, so it's kind of close. But since the green cards here are pretty mediocre and there is another Lash Out alongside Starfire, I'm pretty happy that I took the first one. I'm just gonna go with that. I don't mind playing just a bunch of removal, I mean, and Lash Out and Nameless Inversion are very good removal. Maybe black is not open, but red seems like something I could play. I mean, there was only one card in the last pack, but it was very good. I mean, one red card. Here, well, there is a Lash Out, a Starfire. Changeling is also very playable, so I would assume that red might be open. Greatheart is a card that I think is quite solid. There's a lot of way to, you know, have it being a 3/2 first strike. Crypt Swap is quite good too, but I think Lash Out is just better in vacuum, and since I'm already have one vacuum, one Lash Out, sorry, the second one I think is pretty easy peak. Alright, less exciting pack I would say. There's a Giant Harbinger, which I think is quite good. I mean, the body is really good, alongside the ability. And, well, if Giant is open, it's actually not the worst archetype. The issue is that there aren't many good Giant. I mean, most of them are pretty bad, like this one. It's a bit like Goblin. Most Goblins are really mediocre, but if you can have enough good Goblins, you can actually end up with a good deck. Same with Giant. Most of them are mediocre, but the good ones are really good. Bogart is pretty mediocre. Benticor is not bad at all. I might just pick Smoke Braider though, and try to build the elemental deck where actually if you pick enough Smoke Braider you can start splashing stuff like Benticor and cards like that. I think Smoke Braider could be an option. I kinda like that. I think this could be fun too, so I'm gonna go with that I think. Alright, Flamekin is decent if I'm trying to play elementals. Had I taken the Harbinger, I could see picking the Blind Spot Giant or the Oath. But again, the better card in those packs seems pretty much to be red. I mean, the Giants are not great, but Flamekin is pretty solid, and it's probably one of the best cards here. Promenade could be good. I guess I could have been green too. I don't know. I do like Soulbright Flamekin a decent amount. It's quite good with Smoke Braider because it can let you have 8 mana on turn 4, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 8 mana on turn 4 if you have these two creatures. If you curve this into that, that's pretty sweet. Alright, there's another Flamekin. Moonwalk is one of these big elemental that you can cast with a bunch of Smoke Braider. It's probably one of the worst ones, so I'm not too high on that. There's some Pilferers though, which might be just a better pick than Flamekin, especially since I already have incentive to play black because of Nameless Inversion. And I think Pilferers is very good card, probably better than Flamekin, even though I do like Flamekin. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Pilferers. Alright, well, Firebelly Changeling is not the worst. It's another creature that can use the Smoke Braider ability, which, you know, if you want to play some Smoke Braiders, you need to have a decent amount of way to actually use this ability, otherwise it's pretty bad, obviously. And Changeling is decent in that regard. It's also decent with some other elementals that requires you to activate some abilities. At least there is the 2/4 for 4 mana that gets +1/+0 each time you activate an ability from an elemental, and this works pretty well with it. And there's just not much else. Alright, I think Changeling is a decent one. I mean, it's certainly not better than any of my black cards, so it's not a reason to go blue, but it's probably the best card of the pack. I mean, Drum is not great, I don't think so. Bug Strider Ash is not the worst though. Maybe I should just take the Ash in case I end up playing green. Yeah, seems fine. Alright, well, if Giants are open, this could be good. I mean, that card is really good in the right deck. I'm gonna sort by color for now. Seaguide Ash is a card that I do like a decent amount too. Still probably worse than an Ambush. I think I'm gonna go with the Daredevil in case Giant is actually open. That Wield? Really? That card is like really good. Well, had I known this would wheel, I might have taken the Ambush last pack. I'm gonna pick it, I mean there's just nothing else, but really surprised that this wheeled. Branch Bender is also really solid in the Elf deck, so maybe I should just play Elves. Brawler is kinda mediocre. I think the Shapeshifter is just better. And Shapeshifter is already not that great. Could see playing that, you know. It's pretty good with Daredevil, and if I get enough Giant, I could see that happening. But since the Giant Harbinger did not wheel, not sure if it's gonna really be open. Fist is playable, I guess. So I guess at this point we are pretty much in red. I think we have, yeah, we have a decent amount of red card that I will play no matter what. I mean, Daredevil and Giant Sire are more like guessed, but they might very well end up in the sideboard, but all the other cards are fine. And then I have some 2 very good black cards and maybe some incentive to go green. I mean, green, seeing that card going so late was pretty weird. I mean, it's really good. Like, often it's gonna be, in the right deck, it's gonna be you know, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, even bigger than that when you have Ambush and stuff like that. And, you know, the ability is good, so I don't know. Branch Bender is also pretty strong. Ooh, Primal Command is certainly a good reason to go green. That card is really good. There's another Nameless Inversion though. Interesting pick. I don't think I should pick red card. I think, yeah, it's clearly between the Inversion and the Primal Command. I think Command is a better card, but Inversion is but currently my black cards are better than my green cards. So there is that too. That card is really good. You will get a 2-for-1 most of the time. You will just you know, shuffle something and, I mean, get something from your library and put something under the top. But the gain life effect can be really nice. Shuffle your graveyard can be relevant too. Inversion is very good though, and my black is definitely better than my red. I'm pretty positive about that. I mean, my black is better than my green. I think it's still Nameless Inversion. Yeah. I mean, another reason to pick the command is probably because it's most likely worth a bit of money, since it's played in modern. and maybe even Legacy. But yeah, I think Inversion is probably slightly better. Extract is a decent card, but actually when you have 2 Lash Out and 2 Inversion, I don't think you really need that. Paper Smoke is not looking amazing in this deck. Inner Flame Acolyte is not bad. It's a decent 3-drop. It's pretty aggressive, but it's quite good. It's also something that I can use with Smoke Braider, so I guess there is that. That pack is pretty weak in general. Like, most of the creatures are bad. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot. I'm gonna go with the Acolyte. Not very exciting, but there's just not much else. Alright, Ghostly Changeling is very good black card. Definitely. Yeah, I think it's just the best card of the pack, and you know, I pretty much want to be black at that point. I think I'm gonna just put the green in the side. So that sounds good. I mean, Lysolana is good, but you have to be black-green to make her really good, I think, and Changeling is just pretty amazing in any black deck. Alright, there's another Smoke Braider. Note that my Smoke Braiders could cast my Changeling, and you know, Smoke Braider is also pretty good with the ability of this Changeling, so, I mean, of both my Changelings, I guess. I think I'm gonna go with Smoke Braider. Currently, they are not, like, amazing, but if I could get some really costly elementals, or some more, you know, Changeling, or any elementals with an activated ability, yeah, I think those are gonna be solid. Note that I can cast my Nameless Inversion with my Smoke Braider, which is definitely relevant. Right, I'm gonna sort by converted mana costs. I have a lot of 2, which is kind of... I mean, with 2 Lash Out and 2 Nameless Inversion, it was to be expected, I guess. Sprite is, I think, pretty good, but I'm not sure that I will end up with really enough other fairies. Currently I have 2 Shapeshifter, that's a bit light. I should probably take the Berserker, which is fine. It's another card that I can cast off the Smoke Braiders. It's pretty nice to have a turn 3 Berserker off Smoke Braider. Yeah, it's a fine card. And also all the Changelings obviously work with the Daredevil, which, you know, is something. I think I want Hoarder's Greed here. That card looks great in my deck. I have a bunch of chip removal, and when you have a bunch of chip removal, you just want card advantage. And my deck is looking like a deck that can easily get rid of early aggression, and then just win with card advantage, hopefully. And the Greed just does that for me. Just pretty much the effect I want for my deck. Again, Sprite is looking to be decentish. I have more and more Shapeshifter, but I think Greed is just exactly what I need and want for my deck. Ooh, another one. Pretty great. I mean, Pilferers is also another way to get card advantage. It's definitely between this and the Pilferers. I mean, Grid looks really solid in my deck. I could have a, you know, red-black control deck with some good card draw spell and good removal. Sig is pretty sick if you are playing this color and this archetype. Interesting. It's kind of close. Pilfers might just be better, especially since they are better in multiples. When you can start chaining them, that become really annoying for the opponent. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Pilfers. Alright, Skeletal Changeling is pretty unexciting, especially given the amount of 2-drop I have. But I guess it's the card I'm the more likely to play. Don't really think I want Blade Wheel. I don't think my deck is really aggressive. Maybe I should pick it in case I end up being really aggressive. It could happen. I mean, chip removal can also be good in aggressive deck, especially Lash Out. And I have an Acolyte. Yeah, maybe I'll end up playing aggressively. I don't think this is gonna make the main deck most of the time, so I might as well pick this card in case I'm trying to play aggressive. Alright, another Daredevil. Shame that I don't have any giant except for my Shapeshifters. Alright. Pepper Smoke is starting to look pretty decent with 3 Changelings. I think it's definitely a better option than the Chaser. Alright, I don't need those bad goblins, so... Well, I guess I'm gonna pick that one. Could be an option in some matchup. Winnower is not bad at all. Trades with pretty much everything that's not flying. Which, you know, I guess it's pretty much what every Death Toucher does. But when you have some Pilfers, I think this card becomes even better. Pretty annoying to deal with. Buffon, alright, that's a sideboard option. The Buffon, I'm not sure how you should pronounce that. Buffon, I don't really know. I guess if I'm really aggressive, I could play that. Honestly, given my 2 Pilfers, my greed, and all the removal I have, I think I'd rather play a control deck than anything else. Alright, well, Spitfire is pretty great with the Smoke Braiders, but I think I'm just gonna pick Nat. It means I have to splash for green, but that card is just extremely powerful. Just very, very good. It's a 5-drop, so when it will enter the battlefield, they might just not have a lot of card left in hand, but it's still gonna be very, very good and annoying to face. And Spitfire, again, is looking decent in my deck, but I think this is just a better option, and hopefully I can splash for it. And yeah, I think it's just my best choice here. That card is pretty funny, but probably not what I want to be doing. Well, there's a certain nameless inversion. I think I'm just gonna go with that. I mean, again, you cannot really go wrong with those cheap and amazing removals. Foil Lorwyn, pretty nice. Probably the best card of the pack. I think the best card is Oblivion Ring, then you have Inversion, then probably Creep Swap. It kind of depends on what you are doing. But again, Inversion is pretty easy pick here. Alright, I guess there's another Flamekin. Which is actually not exactly what I want, because I'm trying to be controlly and this is more of an aggressive card, but whatever. Again, it works pretty well with Smoke Braiders, so it's fine. I really do have enough 2-drops though, that's for sure. Alright, yeah, fine. Well... Alright. Some more removals. There's an Ending and a Starfire. I think Ending is much more valuable. I mean, between 2 Lash Out and 3 Inversion, I can kill anything that's small. I also have a Pepper Smoke, as I might have a hard time dealing with big creatures, so that could be an option. Could also pick the Twig to help my splash for Nath, but I think this is just better. I mean, having it's not unconditional, but a nearly unconditional removal is kind of good here. Ooh, Hoarder's Greed. I want that. Yeah, I even got more removal in the meantime, so I think that card is looking pretty amazing. Again, I mean, that card is good, but I'm not really trying to be aggressive, so... Yeah, I'm just gonna have a bunch of card advantage and a bunch of removal. Most of control deck you would expect would play blue, but yeah, it's gonna be black-red control, I guess. Which is definitely something I don't mind playing. Also, if I'm slow and controlly and I have a bunch of card draw, splashing for Nath, even without match fixing, is gonna be fine, I think. As it would not be the case if I'm trying to be aggressive. Alright, I guess I'm gonna pick Ponder. This pack is just awful. I don't really care about my opponent playing any of these cards. I guess Fistful of Force can be annoying, actually. Pretty much can dodge Lash Outs and Nameless Inversions. Alright, that's a good reason. Yeah, Lysilana is not gonna work very well, I don't think. I have some 1 Elf and some Changeling, I don't think it's good enough though. Another Flamekin. Again, I don't really need 2-drop, but I mean, it's the more playable card. Harasser is not bad. I think I need that more than yet another 2-drop. Alright, and it's foil, so it's value. Kind of. Alright, I think I care about anything here. I'm just gonna... I guess this is playable, actually. Mannequin is not bad. I do like Mannequin a decent amount with Pilfers and in general enter the battlefield effect. It's also pretty good with a Harasser. Currently I'm not playing my Giant Sire. And probably not playing any of my Daredevils. And probably not the Shaman. Probably not those aggressive spell. Probably, I mean, Pepper Smoke is probably fine, but I don't really need that kind of effect, honestly. Another Harasser. Alright, well my curve is not the best. I mean, it's fine, it's because my removal, like, you know, I can count them as thing that I would cast on turn 3, it's fine. I'm slightly worried about the Smoke Braider, they just don't look very good in my deck, honestly. Sure, they give me mana for this ability, which I actually will not activate very often, I don't think so. Yeah, I think I want to cut those Smoke Braiders, they just don't look great. I mean, those are fine to drop, but the Smoke Braiders are not doing much in my deck. I have 22 playables, which is a bit light. 13 creatures, it's not bad. I thought I would end up with less creatures. I guess I can play one Smoke Braider, but it's kinda not very appealing. Daredevil works with inversions. Changeling. Also Changeling. Shapeshifter. It's probably not really good enough, honestly. So I don't think I want those Daredevils. Smoke Braider is probably fine, though unexciting. Fist is not exactly what I need or want, I don't think so. Black Poplar Shaman could be decent, though, in my deck. It's kinda defensive, but it's pretty annoying to deal with. I can also regenerate my Shapeshifter, and it's actually a 3-drop, which I do need. Yeah, it's probably fine as a 23rd card. Alright, so I guess this is gonna be the deck. At least I have removal. I'm not really worried about what creature my opponent might play. I think it's worth splashing for Nas, especially when I have 2 Hordus Greed. I would assume that I can get those lands. Probably want 2 of these. 2 Forest. And then, well, actually the Inner Flame Acolyte is not great just because it's double red. That being said, I do have a decent amount of early red cards, so I still want a decent amount of red in my deck no matter what. And hopefully 8 Swamp is gonna be enough to cast those Harassers. Yeah, sounds like a decentish mana base. Not the best, I could use some fixing, but I think it's gonna be fine. I think I do have the early removal, and looking at my curve and what I have, I think assembling the mana I need to cast my spell is not going to be too much of an issue. Note that those Harassers are going to be pretty solid with Pilferers, and also pretty annoying to deal with. And I think those 4 cards here, the 2 Greed and the 2 Pilferers, are going to mean that the late game is going to be pretty favorable for me, just because this is quite a solid amount of card advantage. So yep, that's going to be the deck. Black-red, control-y, full of removal deck, I guess. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the draft. If you did, feel free to leave a like. You can also subscribe to my channel, and I see you guys for round 1.